So hi, welcome to this video. I thought I would do a talking piece about plugins and subscriptions versus hardware for audio. Contentious one, it's been done before, but I thought I would give you my opinion. Be great to hear some of your opinions in the comments, because I'm not suggesting for a moment I'm right. I'm just thought I'd give you my perspective, and you might agree with it. It might give you some insight into your situation, and it might generate a bit of debate, which is always good. So let's get into it. Why does this matter to sort of audio creators, engineers and musicians? Well, most of us have got limited budgets. We're trying to spend our money wisely. Obviously we want those new bits of gear which we think will enhance our playing or enhance our recording, but we have limited budgets to do it with. So we've got to be wise with our money, and most of us don't have limitless cash that we can go and just spend out on stuff. And even if you're a successful professional earning lots of money through it, you're probably a business owner and you've got other costs, and you've also got to make a living doing it as well. So you've got to be careful with how you spend that money and reinvest that money. So it's of vital importance that you're sensible about how you spend that money. So what does that mean in the real world? Well, most of us are spending money on subscriptions for various bits of software and operating systems potentially, and bits of DAWs and plugins particularly. That's one of the main things that I thought about. I don't know about you, but everything seems to be going over to a subscription model these days. But when it comes down to the music stuff, you could be paying some of this stuff for many, many years. And it's that whole argument of, including sort of Apple Music and owning records and things like that, is it nicer to own something which you've got forever? So my own perspective, and I'm going to talk about mainly plugins here, but certainly things like subscriptions for DAWs and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a definite Apple fan because I have bought computers, the operating system gets upgraded and you don't have to pay extra to get the new version of the operating system. So well done Apple for that. I use Logic and MainStage and GarageBand occasionally for quick little recordings, and again you get the updates and you've bought the software and you're getting updates for free. I was slightly concerned when Logic came out on the sort of iPad Pro, and that was a subscription type thing, but I'm quite happy with my Macs, and Logic seems to be stable on there as a purchase and upgrade system, and I like that model. I've paid a reasonable amount of money for it and I'm getting sort of enhancements as time goes on. I'm also a big user of Dante, and I have Dante Virtual Sound Card, which I generally use. I can plug straight in with a Thunderbolt cable into my Macs from my Focusrite Red 8 Pre, so that's one way I can get Dante into the computer. But I do use Dante Virtual Sound Card, and I've got the perpetual license, but again there is a subscription thing that they've brought out recently, which again I'm less happy with, because I'd like to buy the software, be able to use it and transfer it between machines as machines become old and get replaced. And again, I like that model. So I'd say to Apple and Audinate, keep the purchase subscription going. It might be you offer a subscription thing which perhaps has enhanced features. Great idea, that's fine. But I think the basic versions of software is good. And the other DAW that I'd highlight is Reaper, which again has a purchase price, and then you get updates and upgrades in that, which again I think is great. So we can end up spending a huge amount of money on software plugins, our DAW and other bits and bobs related to our music practice, and what we do, and it could end up being a few $100s a month. Potentially there could be you know, a plug-in subscription or two, plus your sort of DAW, and it could be, you know, amount to a fair amount of money per month, which could be up to, you know, several $100 or pounds a year that you're paying in subscriptions. And what else could you do with that money? And my argument is, you know, you could buy all the plugins, have them available and pay your subscription, which is fine. But how many plugins do you actually regularly use on a regular basis? And I suspect most people, it's probably maybe a preamp modeler plugin that you might have, possibly an EQ and a compressor, but you probably find you've got a favourite, and probably something like a reverb as well. And then there might be some small specialised bits of plugins you might do for perhaps mastering or something like that. And actually, if you think about it, most expensive pieces of audio equipment, be it a plug-in, be it a preamp or a compressor or a, you know, a bus compressor or something like that, might cost anywhere from a few £100 up to a couple of £1,000 for, you know, expensive, you know, reasonably top line bits of audio equipment, but then you own that forever. And you know, that to me is something that is good, you know, especially with multi-tracking now. You can record you know, tracks in, and then you can pass each one through your EQ or compressor if you've got enough time to do that. It's nice if you've got a rack of them and you can record everything through them at the same time, but you can actually, you know, process some of those things, and you know, a few bits of decent audio equipment you can keep forever. And actually, if you decide that you're not using it very much, you can sell it on and it'll probably retain a reasonable amount of its resale value, and especially if you keep it for, you know, many years, it might actually improve in price, you know, especially if it's something that's discontinued. So you know, I think there's a real benefit to perhaps saving up, maybe using some free plugins until you can afford to buy bits of equipment, and then buying those bits of equipment, and then you've got them there to use. And that's certainly something I've decided to do. I'm trying to actually buy pieces of audio equipment which I can actually then use and keep, and I've got a few favourites that I use, and you know, that seems to be working for me. You know, if you're into having availability of lots of stuff and really enjoy that experience, then maybe having a plugin subscription may be good for you. If you're using lots of plugins, again, that's a very useful thing. But as I say, my argument was that I did like a few Waves plugins. I had a couple of SSL plugins, and the Focusrite Red plugins I quite liked, and I would use those and probably use 4 or 5 of them at most regularly on recordings. So I kind of thought, well, there's probably, you know, 4 or 5 different pieces of equipment that I need: a compressor, a bus compressor, a EQ, you know, that sort of thing, you know, reverb. So I've gone out and bought those bits, and I'm quite happy with them. So my conclusion is, I think the key thing is work out what's best for you. As I say, if you like lots of plugins and you're happy spending that money, and you don't mind the fact that if you stop subscribing, the plugins may not work, that may be okay for you, and you're happy to spend that money and have a big array of different plugins, particularly with the subscription models, you know, that might be quite a good thing. But if you're slightly narked by all of the subscriptions you're paying, then maybe think about, certainly for the audio equipment side of things, maybe save a bit of money and think about buying nice bits of equipment that do the job that you find works well. Maybe take some advice from people and do some good research, and purchase some bits of equipment. The 500 series stuff is great. It tends to be slightly cheaper, and you can get some good audio gear in there which can, you know, do the jobs you need them to do, and you own them forever. And if something better comes along, again, you can sell it on, which I think is a good thing. Hope you found it interesting. Please give your comments in the comments section. Be respectful to everyone. We want to hear your opinion, but don't necessarily diss other people's opinions, because everyone's opinion's right, isn't it, really? I'm just giving you my opinion. Feel free to give me yours. Hope that was interesting for you, and see you next time.